Hi class, it's Dr. T. It's hard to believe it's the 4th week of class already. I want you to know that you're all doing a great job. I'm very proud of you, as I've shared with many of you in our individual Skypes. You are individually doing well, and the class as a whole is collectively doing well. I've shared with Dr. Monkern and Dr. Kratzer how well you're all doing and reassured them that they're going to have awesome advisees for the graduate project. I have posted the graduate project advisors assignments. Here's a little copy of it. You can't really read it here, but it's in the course now, so please go in and check to see who your advisor is, because you'll be meeting with your advisor this week and going over your PICO and just getting to know your advisor, because this is the person who'll be working with you on your graduate project. Your advisor will also be the one who is teaching your class when you take the graduate project writing class. So let's just review this a little. You're starting the graduate project in this course in terms of identifying your focus. You've all identified a clinical focus. You've identified your PICO. You have identified a theoretical framework that from nursing that seems to fit your area of focus. Well done. You've done a really good job with that. I'm very proud of you that way. And you are ready to start thinking about your PICO. You're going to be doing a concept paper that addresses the concept that is relevant to your topic. That's going to be due in the end of week 6, so you're going to have to get moving on that. I'm going to go over that with you after this week, towards the end of this week, because you're going to be kind of focused on the graduate project this week. So let's look at the graduate project. You have the graduate project guidebook posted in the course. Here is the guidebook. So please open that up. Please print a copy for yourself, because this is what is telling you about the graduate project. I'm going to go over it a little bit, not in deep detail, but just enough to give you a broad idea of what the graduate project is. There is a course description in the guidebook. I would ask that you review it. I'm going to just say it now to sort of set the stage for the graduate project. The purpose of the graduate project is to identify a clinical problem. You've done that. You've all identified a clinical problem. Remember, you identified a clinical problem that is patient-centered, meaning it sits in the patient, and it is important to nursing, and it's a current problem on your unit or in your institution or your place of practice. You're going to analyze the problem, and you're going to propose an evidence-based change to address the problem. You've all looked at it. You've said, here's my clinical problem. Here is the evidence-based practice change that I would like to make that's going to quite fix the problem. You're making sure that the intervention that you've identified is something that nursing plays a key, major role in. It can be an inter or multidisciplinary approach. However, nursing has to be someone who's a key player in it. All right, so you've chosen the problem within your area of practice or clinical specialty. Remember that I've cautioned you to make sure that what you've chosen is something that is of deep interest to you. Make sure it's something that has not been fixed on your unit, and it's something that you're going to want to stick with over the course of your graduate program, which is for a little bit while yet, isn't it? Okay, so you're going to look at and analyze the literature about your problem, about the evidence-based change. This has started in this course in your concept paper. You have to find 10 articles that are important to your concept as you've identified it. At least 10 articles. You are not necessarily seeking research studies, but certainly I'm sure some of the articles you have found are research studies. You've not only looked for articles that are about your concept, but you've also looked for articles that are relative to your evidence-based change. So I am confident, given what you've been posting, that you have a very good start on this. When you go to identify the research literature, you're going to be doing that as you go to Dr. Kratzer's class next, where she teaches you research, and she's going to help you to understand how you really get into the research literature and look at research studies, how you identify research studies, what kind of research studies, and how you critique studies to see if they're valuable. You will continue your search for research studies for your project when you go to Dr. Monkern's class, which is the third class that you're taking. Her class is specifically about evidence-based practice. So you're going to do that with Dr. Monkern and even tighten up the evidence that you are locating to support your change in practice. Keep in mind that you must be proposing a practice change that is well supported by a strong body of evidence that says, yes, that change should do what you are proposing you want it to do. So you're looking at this proposed change, you're saying this change is going to make a difference to the patients, it's going to address the quality of care they receive, and it should lead to improved patient outcomes and specifically safe outcomes for the patients. Remember again that the outcomes that you are seeking to identify are patient-centered. What does that mean? It means it's in the patient. It's patient behavior, patient experience, patient feeling, patient perspective. For example, reduction in anxiety, improved safety, meaning less falls. Patient will report feeling less anxious, less pain, less anxiety, more comfortable, patient-centered. Also, the outcome has to be nursing sensitive. After all, we're the nurses. We want to demonstrate that we have the interventions that are unique to what we do as nurses that will lead to better outcomes for the patients. So you want your outcome to be patient-centered and nursing sensitive. Nursing sensitive outcomes are all about the patient. It's the patient outcomes, but they are outcomes that are directly related to nursing interventions. Isn't that interesting? We're the only ones going to do it, class. Nobody else is going to do this, so we need to support nursing interventions and nursing sensitive patient outcomes. You're going to do all that. You're going to be developing your evidence-based proposal in the nursing research courses with Dr. Kratzer and Dr. Monkern. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be pulling it together. Then down the road, you have a course that's called the Evidence-Based Graduate Project Course, and you're going to work with your advisor on actually developing and writing the paper that's your proposal. Keep in mind that you need to have your evidence-based change intact and in a package. If you have a clinical guideline for your evidence-based change, that's awesome. That's what you're going to implement. If there is no complete package, but you say you want to put together a program that has evidence-based interventions, then you have to actually pull that program together. Your advisor will help you with this and how you will do it, but you need that intervention that's completely organized and supported by the literature. You're going to write the paper, then you're going to go into a course called Advanced Roles, and you're going to actually develop the PowerPoint for your graduate project defense that you will do towards the end of the program. And you will also design a poster presentation that's electronic that will give you the experience of how would you go out and present the findings of your evidence-based change to the professional community. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? You're going to do so much. You're going to be so proud of yourselves. You're going to feel so smart and so informed. It will all work out. Don't panic. Remember, this is over the course of the entire program. We're starting you now. We're getting you ready. We're here to support you and to help you succeed with this graduate project. So again, I want you to look at your graduate project guidebook. Look at the course description. I want you to look at the course outcomes, because you know what? Those course outcomes are actually the program outcomes. What that means is your evidence-based project should reflect that you've achieved all the outcomes that we say a graduate of this program will have. And trust me, it will. But take a look at those course outcomes. There's 2 columns, one for the leadership role and one for the educator role. They're good outcomes, they're thoughtful outcomes, and they are the descriptors of all the qualities, knowledge, and skills that you will achieve at the end of this program. Pretty nice. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit more about the project. If you turn to your evidence-based capstone project description, it's on page 6 of your guideline. You're going to look over that description of the project and pay attention to how it describes how the whole the whole project will unfold. We use a model of knowledge transformation, the STAR model. Look at that STAR model, and it talks about how knowledge is accessed and created in our profession. You're doing something like that with your graduate project. You're going to be looking at an evidence-based change and talking about it. Keep in mind again that your project is a proposal. You are not actually implementing the evidence-based change. However, we do hope that you actually will implement it once you complete the proposal and present it to the people that you should present it to in your organization. Caution, please do not implement your project before you've completed your paper. If you do so, you will not have a proposal to write. Let's say you ran out and completed the project before you even developed your paper, and then you went to your advisor and say, I did a great job, my project's in place. Caution, you know what your advisor is going to say? Oops, you can't do it because you've already put that project in place without even developing the proposal. So you're going to have to come up with a new one. So be very careful. You can certainly talk to people about your project in your place of employment or practice, but don't start putting it together until you've organized your whole proposal and know the steps that you're going to go through to actually implement a successful project. So please look at your guidebook, go through the description of the evidence-based project, being very sensitive to the fact that this is, quote, an evidence-based project. And what does that mean? It means you're going to have a strong body of evidence to support your proposed intervention. Look it over, and then I would suggest that you go to the outline of the actual paper, because that sort of gives you an idea of how your paper is going to look. And let me see what page that starts on. It starts on page 9, and it's entitled Outline of the Evidence-Based Paper. Look it over. It's got specific steps to it, like almost obvious, an introduction. You're going to be identifying a case study, for example, and that case study, you're going to start already with your concept paper. You're going to describe a case study that sets the stage for the need for the evidence-based change. So what does that mean? That means you're going to tell the story of the situation that describes the clinical problem that is occurring as you see it, that you want to fix. So, for example, if you were describing that, or if your evidence-based change was to put into place a palliative care program in the ICU for patients who are dying, the story you describe in your case study would be about a patient in the ICU who isn't getting what they need because there is no palliative care team. So you'll tell the sad but true story with the outcomes that you feel are poor outcomes that you want to help change with the program that you are proposing. And just take that for any of the examples that you are describing for whatever your evidence-based change is. So if you're going to put together, thinking of some of the projects, if you're going to put together a culturally sensitive education program for patient education resources program for the patients on a certain unit or in a certain institution, the case study you would describe would be about what happened to Mrs. Rodriguez because she didn't have culturally sensitive patient education. You're going to set the stage for what you want to actually fix. Okay, you're going to be describing your implementation plan. You're going to learn how to do this. Don't worry about any of this. This is just giving you the big picture, meaning you're going to talk about how do you put this plan into place. You're going to be learning about change theories. What kind of change theory are you going to use to organize how you take the steps to make a change? What kind of resources do you need, both in terms of materials, equipment? What kind of costs are involved? How long is it going to take to put this in place? What are the hoops you have to jump through in order to put forth an evidence-based change in your place of practice? All these steps that you're going to be taking in your evidence-based proposal will be well supported by your advisor for your project and also in the courses that you're going to take. So as we complete the theory course, you will have written your concept paper, which is the beginning of understanding the concept that's significant to your evidence-based change. Then you'll go into research and you're going to learn how to actually find research studies to support your evidence-based change. And then you're going to pull it all together by going to the evidence-based course with Dr. Monkern and talking about your body of evidence and how you actually evaluate the body of evidence. Well, that's it for this little intro to your practice change that you're all going to implement or not implement, you're going to propose in your papers. We're very excited. This is a successful model that we've been using now for a while. It gets you through the program. When you finish this paper, you're going to be a little bit before your practicum or internship. You'll defend your paper and then you'll graduate. And as I've shared with so many of you on our Skype conversations, the time goes by faster than you can possibly imagine. The people, students who were your equivalent in terms of what time you started, they're finishing up and they're going to be graduating in December. So a year ago, last March, when they started, they were in the place that you're in right now going, oh, this is so long and it's hard and am I ever going to get through it? And they are through it. They're going to be writing their papers in just a little bit. And then they're going to be defending, and then they're going to be doing their practicums and internships and graduating in December. And we'll all be celebrating with them. We'll be doing the same with you in just a year and a half when you go and graduate in December of, let's see, that'd be 2014, wouldn't it? It seems like a long time, but it really isn't very long at all. Honestly, it goes by very quickly. So I'm done. I'm happy to be talking with you. I'm enjoying our course. I am very proud of you. I think you're doing an awesome job. I love the work you're doing in the wikis. I love your answers to the discussion questions. You're a very committed group of learners. You are answering discussion questions with depth and with good support from the literature. You're being kind and supportive to each other. You're influencing each other in positive ways. You have a good attitude. You make us very proud. You're our first online group, and we couldn't have a better group of students to be the first pioneers in Robert's master's program online. You are modeling excellence, class. We're very happy to have you. I am enjoying all that you are accomplishing. Please Skype me whenever you can, just to say hi. You don't have to wait for when you're required to Skype. You can Skype anytime. Hey, Ruben, you and I know each other pretty well because Ruben and I talk a lot, and I enjoy it. I'd love to talk with all of you as much as you need me. So keep going, keep the faith. May God bless you as you continue on in the program, and I will see you all along the rest of the program. I will see my advisees this week. I'm seeking to have a Skype meeting with you, so check out the forum and see what your advisor is saying and how they're going to talk with you. Be blessed and have a great day. Bye.